In nature, God has given most of his animal creations a way to defend themselves against predators, which helps to ensure the survival of a particular species. In my estimation, the colorful sea anemone truly has an interesting method, and sometimes it shares this to the benefit of what you might call its friends. Now, the anemone looks like a colorful flower in the ocean. Sea anemones belong to a large family, which includes coral, though they don't have skeletons like coral that form colonies. There is even a cousin that lives in the fresh water called the hydra. Anemones have a hollow body, and they feed by paralyzing their prey with stinging cells called nematocysts. These stingers are located on their long, graceful tentacles. Let me tell you a story. I once had a large saltwater aquarium many years ago now, and among other delightful creatures God created, I had an anemone. It was very pretty too. Its hollow body was about 3.5 inches long and was a shade of pinkish orange, and the tentacles were ghostly white and tipped in pink. In the aquarium, I wanted to make sure that the fish, shrimp, and brittle starfish didn't take all the food, so I would take bits of meat, mainly shrimp, and put my hand down into the salt water so that I could set the food on the anemone's tentacles. And the tentacles would fold in so that the food went into the mouth at its body center. Now, when I fed the anemone, the stingers did not hurt, but it felt like a tingling on my fingers as it stung. The species is not venomous, so I had no ill effects. The anemone is a slow mover using a foot called the basal disc to move along some sort of way similar to how a snail moves. They have a unique way of reproducing too. At times, they are said to multiply by merely pulling themselves apart, with each half growing into a perfectly healthy animal. The anemone can also reproduce using more conventional methods, such as by sperm and eggs. Some species of anemone have a unique relationship with certain other animals. In my aquarium, I had a brightly colored orange and white clownfish, and the clownfish is unfazed by the anemone's sting and actually lives amongst its tentacles, where it receives protection from predators. As the clownfish eats, pieces of the food fall into the tentacles for the anemone to consume. So you see, God gave them a special relationship from which they both benefit. Hermit crabs and shrimp also have similar relationships with the anemone, and in the case of the hermit crab, the anemone attaches itself to the shell, thus sort of hitching a ride. Most sea anemones grow attaching themselves to rock or timber. Some, however, burrow, while others float along with the seaweed. There are over 1,000 different types of sea anemones. My father seems to have diversity and beauty, which he loves to show. There are green anemones that live in Pacific tide pools. There is the blue-tipped anemone, the largest in American waters, found from Florida to the West Indies, and they can measure up to 18 inches in diameter and 12 inches tall. God created the sea anemone to reflect the beauty of his nature. He displayed his great love in giving it friends, so to speak, which help each other survive. This sort of reminds me of the church that he established, where fellow Christians help each other to survive in a very immoral world. I hope you've enjoyed this brief look at the one family of animals in God's awesome creation. If you did, please be sure to check out the rest of my videos in this series, and please subscribe and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified of any new videos that come out from the Dennis Morrison channel. Thank you for listening. God bless.